welcome to another episode of Brokish Black It Girl. I'm your host, Ryan C. Gale, aka Ryan, aka Girl Ryan. Just know that I am not claiming to be broke, and I refuse to ever refer to myself as broke. But listen, I am an artist, an entrepreneur, and life just be lifing for me sometimes. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Before we get into it, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel right now. Today, I want to introduce you all to my best friend, the lovely Tru Violet. She is all of the things, a creative, an artist, an entrepreneur, a nail artist, a DJ, and so much more. She will introduce herself to you all. But Tru, thank you for joining us today. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
How you doing, girl?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
This is my rest day, low-key.
Yeah, taking it easy, same.
Yes.
Welcome back to New York.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back.
Please introduce yourselves to the people. We want to know, who is Tru Violet?
Yes, I am Tru Violet. I am a nail artist, like Ryan said, DJ, entrepreneur, just honestly multidisciplinary artist because I now produce music as well. And
that's producing music? I didn't even know that. Okay.
Remember I was just telling you about the Behringer equipment?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was going to bring it, but it was just too much like going on for like the luggage.
Yeah, okay, I feel that.
Everything is just too heavy, but yeah.
I love that. New things.
And I'm back based out of Brooklyn.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So yeah, you were like one of my first friends that I met in New York City outside of like my group of friends that I moved here with. Mm-hmm. And it's so crazy because like, yeah, music has definitely been a part of us because we met at Dej Lo concert.
I know, literally. We literally was in line by ourselves, went there by ourselves, like, yeah, girl, I'm here by myself. I came to see Dej Lo.
I remember like that, like it was yesterday. That was literally like 10 years ago, but like, I know I was just, none of my friends wanted to go. Nobody was rocking with Dej Lo, like how I was rocking with her. And yeah, I was like, I'm going to see her. I don't even remember where she performed at. It was somewhere in the city.
Santos Party House.
Okay,
no longer open, I don't think, but yeah.
And I had did I have Chatterbox that time?
You had Chatterbox. You bought Chatterbox to give to Dej Lo's manager.
Yes, because it was like, I wanted to give her some glasses, and I should have just gave it to Dej Lo because I could have, but I was so scary at that time.
I know.
You was like, just give it to her. I had a little knowing everything.
I love that though, honestly. Yeah. Since you always been a boss, literally. Like, this is my brand. Yes, enjoy these sunglasses.
Yes. That was a time though. That was a time.
That was 22.
Yeah, babies. So, what do you think is like the definition of like a true it girl?
Someone who is confident in themselves, loves themselves and show it, obviously. Someone who has their own style, their own vibe. It doesn't even have to be crazy. It's just their own, you know?
Yeah.
Someone who can be a boss.
Yeah.
Not everybody can be a boss, and there's nothing wrong with that.
This is like levels to it.
Exactly.
You know, it's like levels to it. You gotta know what it is that you kind of want out of whatever it is that you're doing, and have the tenacity to go and get
that part.
You
know what you want and know how to get it.
Exactly. So, where did you move from? Why did you move to New York? Why New York?
Oh my God. Okay, so honestly, this is so funny, but because I don't even think you know this story, like how I even got to New York.
Okay, yes.
But at the time when I was living in Atlanta, I was just getting like bored down there. I moved back down there right after high school, kind of, and like a year after high school. And I was just like bored. And so I moved back to Detroit where I went to high school at. and I started taking acting classes
Mm.
because I really wanted to be an actress, and it was just like my passion at the moment. At the time, I had been doing music, like singing and stuff, but I wasn't.
Okay, I didn't know you was a singer.
Yeah, bitch.
Okay, this is new tea.
I know. So yeah, at the time, like only thing I had participated in music was like singing and co-producing.
Mhm.
So yeah, but anyway, I had found a passion for acting, and I was like, started talking to this girl I met offline.
Okay.
And she lived in New York.
All right.
And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna come see her. I came and see her in 2013, and then we ended up just being friends. And she was like, wherever you want, you can come and stay in New York, even if you want to like live with me, like you can.
Okay.
I know you go to acting. I know you want to like start acting.
Sugar
so, like,
mama.
But yeah, she was just so nice, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna take you up on that offer. So
Okay.
I came here to pursue acting. Acting in television and film.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. And what happened with that? Like, is that still something that you feel like you would want to pursue, or like why pause on that?
So I paused on that because I kind of got I realized that at the time when I moved here, theater was just bigger here.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that many gigs for film and television, and I didn't want to get stuck doing background work, but I knew I needed to do background work to get
in order to get started.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. You gotta kind of like, unless you really know somebody that is already at the top and it's just like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
You usually always gotta kind of start at the bottom.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so you were just like, scrap that. Acting isn't for me.
Well, I kind of was just like, I'm gonna pause on it. Because I had moved to LA and it just didn't work out. To be honest.
I remember. I didn't know you. Did you really move, or were you just out there spending some time?
I moved. Okay. I gave my apartment away and everything. I should have kept it.
Yeah.
But it was like I was just trying new things. You know, I'm not afraid to get up and move somewhere and try.
At all.
Yeah, I love doing that, and I love traveling. So, but yeah, I put acting on the back burner because I was like, you know, this is kind of stressing me out right now, and I would like it for it to be fun. I would like for me to be able to enjoy it and feel passionate about it. I started like getting in my head too much about it, and then I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna put this on the back burner for now. When I picked up like prominent interest in becoming a DJ, yeah,
because I know you were always. Well, when we first met, you were already in the nightlife industry.
Bartending and cocktail serving, yeah.
Yeah, I will always pull up at your spot at, in a little, what was that?
Oh, Karma Bar? Yes, Karma Lounge, yes.
Is that still, that's not a thing, huh?
So, I don't know, I think they changed the name to it, but it's not owned by the same people anymore.
Yeah. That was a
during
spot.
COVID.
That was like the only spot in the city where people were actually still smoking cigarettes.
That part.
I was like, I hated that.
Yeah, it was a hookah lounge. Okay, so it was acceptable.
Okay, cute. Yeah. So, and then I remember when you were bartending, you was like, I think I'm gonna start DJing. And can you explain like what the transition was like and like why DJ?
So yeah, basically, I had always wanted to be a DJ or like at the time I was like producing music a little bit still with my ex.
And when you say producing music, like exactly what does that mean?
Just helping make the beat, writing the music, suggesting people who I think would be great to make the beat. So yeah,
this is new. I didn't know that you.
I've always been behind the scenes.
Okay. Yes. Why you ain't never tell me that? I love that.
Yeah, even helping my ex with all of her music stuff. Yeah. I don't know. That's something I just never really talked about it because I felt like I couldn't find a scene for it here. So I felt like alienated in a way. So I was like, certain things. I have an issue with being secretive.
Yeah.
Like I just have to. I don't know, something about me and the people that I were raised by. We didn't really talk much about like things that we love like that.
Yeah.
So that's just naturally I'm just like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So basically, what happened was people were encouraging me like, oh my God, you make the best playlist on SoundCloud. People were going through my SoundCloud like, are you a DJ? You should be a DJ like this. Like your likes are fire. And I was like, I used to make CDs in high school and sell them. Learn those CDs. Yeah, and people would love my playlist on my CDs, and they were like, "You need to be a DJ," and I was like, "I just can't afford it." But I ended up getting into a car accident in a Lyft one night, coming back from work when I used to work at Lucky Strike, and I sued them. I'm still banned from them to this day, but I sued them.
Lyft?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got a bag from that,
Yeah.
and I bought my equipment with that money.
Okay, period.
And I taught I locked
invested in yourself.
Yes, and during the lawsuit, I couldn't work that often. So I remember I was like just strictly in the house for a little bit, just locking myself in my room and teaching myself how to DJ because they were doing an investigation on me. So I was like, yeah, y'all finna see, because I was going to physical therapy and everything. But during that time, though, I started taking voice lessons again. So I was like, I want to get back into music, and just ended up pivoting to DJing because it was just much more easier for me to get into. And I bought my equipment. At the time, my ex worked at a what do you call those stores? They worked at B&H Photo. So they got discounts on all the things. So I was like, perfect. So I bought my stuff, locked myself in my room for like 3 months, and literally taught myself how to DJ.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where did you teach yourself at? Like, what were you watching? Was it YouTube?
So I watched YouTube. No, literally YouTube University. I forget the person's name, but basically he does like these Skillshare classes.
Yes.
And I basically bought like a set of classes from the YouTube. Yeah, I just watched those, and I'm the type of person, I'm hands-on. Let me play with what's going on. That's how I'm going to figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And what year was that?
That was the end of 2014, wait, no. That's not true. The end of 2015, beginning of 2016.
Wow.
Because you booked me for my first gig in May 2016. Yes.
Wow. So you wasn't playing at Karma before that?
I don't remember. I don't think
you
so.
Played there before. You played there
a couple
before.
times.
Yeah, okay.
And I also had this little residency at this little Dominican spot in Williamsburg. Remember?
Yes.
By the bridge.
Oh yes, I remember that. See, yeah, back in the day, it was just like, okay, we know this person that does this in our circle. We was just like, yeah, girl, I know Tru DJ. I would put you on for everything.
You
like,
did.
That's my friend. She gonna DJ the event. It's gonna be lit.
Yeah.
It was always a vibe. Everybody always. And I do remember, like, Tru, can you make a playlist?
Yes.
Like, birthday playlist, all that.
Yes.
And it's just so interesting. So 2015 to see, like, how far you've come. Do you ever, like, look back and be like, yo, I really came this far? Like, I really started here from this Lyft car accident, buying my equipment, investing in myself. And, like, now I'm DJing all over the world.
Yeah, I recently just had a self-reflective moment because I'm a mentor to someone, and I started teaching them in 2021, and to see them come so far in just this short amount of time, I was like, wow. I started thinking back to, like, when I first started. I started self-reflecting, and I'm like, wow, I've actually come a long way too, because things got started really quickly for me as well in my first couple of years. And I'm honestly just so grateful that I am still thought of and still receiving opportunities.
Right. Because you also taught a lot of our friends.
Yeah, I
too.
did.
Like, you also taught, like, Bryce and, like, Yada. I just remember, like, you know, you would really be... When somebody say, like, yo, I want to DJ, you would really be like, yo, I
can teach you.
Yeah. I think you're such, you're so great, like, at that. Like, have you ever thought of, like, would you ever do that as, like a little thing on the side? Like,
so I was, before I was mentoring Sierra Shy, who's my mentor now, I was mentoring another person who, they were very interested in being my mentee and learning how to DJ, but I think COVID hit, to be honest.
And when you say mentee, is that kind of like you just taking somebody up under your wing? But you don't charge them for that. They're just like...
Well, for the lessons, I give them a really, really affordable rate.
Okay, nice.
Extremely affordable. I'm talking like $30 like an hour.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. And so I basically teach them. I bring them with me to my gigs, and then when they feel confident enough to say that they want to play in front of a crowd, I'm just like, well, I have a residency, or I have a connection. I can introduce you to this person so that you can play here.
Yeah. And then you started Your nail business.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
So tell us about that and why like nail art. Cause I mean, ever since I know you, you always had a fresh set. Like you didn't play. You was like, no, I'm got a nail appointment. So it kind of made sense when you told me you were gonna start doing nails. But like, why nails?
Okay, I have like a crazy passion for nail art. Like I always have since like honestly like late 90s. My aunts used to go and get airbrush French tips with a little flower stencil. Yeah. Remember those back in the day?
Yeah. I mean, I was rocking acrylic nails in the 4th grade.
Exactly.
Like, I was so pressed for nails.
Of course you were.
In the 4th grade, like, why did this little ass girl have like these nails? So
exactly.
I remember all that. And they were airbrushing it back then.
See?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was just so fascinated and intrigued by it. And then like in the South, junk nails are like back then they were like a huge thing. You could put anything on a nail.
Yeah.
You already know, dice, all types of stuff.
Yeah.
Piercings and
so this was in Atlanta or this was in Detroit that they was doing that? Cause I ain't never seen no dice on no nails.
I know. Okay, this is Atlanta, and I mean I feel like my family come from both Atlanta and Detroit.
Yeah.
So this was in Atlanta with the junk nails, Detroit with the airbrush.
Okay, yeah. They were doing airbrush in New York, in DC.
Yeah. Little 3D designs with the acrylic and stuff. Back in the 90s, I'm gonna have to look for some photos to show you, but yep, I was really intrigued by that. But at the time, I had started doing hair. I was like, well, I'll just do nails whenever I'm finished getting bored with this. Whenever I'm done getting bored with this. So 2018, I started working at a hair salon out in Clinton Hill. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes, and I was assisting the main hairstylist there. And
my girl has so many hustles. Okay?
right.
Yeah.
I went to cosmetology school, y'all, like literally. But basically, they were like the door is open for you to tap into like whatever you want to do, like as far as cosmetology wise.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've really been wanting to learn how to do nails, like, and I had started to buy little stuff to practice on friends and stuff. Like I practiced on one of my best friends' girlfriends.
Yeah.
Remember that? Mm-hmm. And then then my grandmother passed away, so I stopped practicing. And then I kind of got, upset and everything. But then I picked it back up during the pandemic when I had nothing but time to learn a new skill.
Yeah.
Basically, and at the time, Gillette extensions were becoming like a thing. They were getting popular. And I started with acrylic, but then I was like, okay, this is what the girls want, so I need to learn this.
Well,
and the girls wanted acrylic, but the girls started wanting the Prey, and the Gillette extension. So I was like, I'm the type of person, like I said, lock myself in a room, watch a couple videos, hands on, practicing. So I bought all the utilities that I needed, everything that I needed for it, and I just practiced on mannequin hands and then friends' hands. And at first I was just playing. I was like, y'all, because I was just doing my nails, and then everybody was like, well, I would pay you to do my nails. So don't pay me. I just want to play. They were like, no. So they were like, you need to start a business. So all of my following from my DJing just followed me to my nail business, and they started booking me because they love my nails. I'm so grateful for that. To be honest, to already have had a client base to actually. My first year was so successful, and then my second year was even more successful. So yeah, that's really how I started during the pandemic.
So many I feel like sometimes as creatives, people on the outside can easily box you in and make you feel like, oh, you should only do this one thing, or you can't really do multiple things because you haven't mastered this yet. Which I can relate to in a little bit, but I do feel like, if you just have a passion for art and a passion for creating, it's hard to just stick to one thing.
Exactly. Exactly. Expansion, if you're an artist, expansion is the best thing that can ever happen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you limit yourself, you just hold yourself back from so many different opportunities that could be possible if you really tried to put yourself out there and just really, what you're curious about, just go after it. You don't even have to take it extremely serious. Just have fun with it, and then let it flourish from there, really.
Yeah. So how do you manage like all your creative businesses? Like how are you managing it all?
This is a frequent question that I'm asked.
Okay.
Um, so basically, I just carve out time, like, for everything. Like, I'm very much like someone who is like, okay, I'm in the mood to do this. So I want to make time for this. Like, I work a full time job um, as a mental health counselor for the LGBTQ youth, and I work overnights. So when I first started that job, I was just taking clients on specific days at certain hours of the day that worked for me, basically. Because I'm like, I still want to do art, I still want to DJ, but I just take breaks. I pace myself.
Yeah.
I pace myself. I try not to overwhelm myself um, with opportunities because I remember when I first started and I was too overwhelmed. I exhausted myself. So now I just pace myself. Whatever I'm in the mood for, and sometimes when I'm not in the mood, I accept that, I embrace that, and I take a little break, a couple weeks, a couple months sometimes. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I'm so grateful to have like such loyal clientele that I'm allowed to do that. Like
Yeah.
the universe, God, they allow me to do that.
Yeah, that's special, and I think that being able to take your breaks, like
Mhm.
especially that's something that I'm working on because I feel like I am my business.
Mhm.
Like I have my own business. I am a freelancer, so it's just kind of like when I don't work, I don't get paid. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of like it makes sense sometimes to have that cushion or like
Mhm.
that 9 to 5 so you can like just cool out or you can
That
take
part.
a paid leave or a paid vacation. I'm just trying to
Exactly.
get to the place where it's just like you know if I slow down for a little bit, I'm not gonna be starving. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But
Abundance comes to us freely and frequently.
yeah, yeah.
I never, when I was younger, I used to be stressed out about money so bad. But literally, when I turned 30, I was like, I'm not stressing anymore, bro. I cannot do it. I can't stress about it because I realized what I was doing was I was confusing what I was manifesting, basically. Like I would be so stressed about money, so then it wouldn't come to me as easy.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
then when I stopped stressing about it, literally everything just fell into place. It was crazy.
Exactly. So, I mean, let's talk about it. Like, let's lean into it because, like, this podcast is called Brokish
Mhm.
Black It Girl. And I tell people all the time, like, a lot of times being brokish, don't necessarily always have to do with, a financial space.
Mhm.
It can sometimes be, just where you are in your transitional phase or in your
Yes.
phase in life. But I definitely agree with, having that abundance mindset, at
Yeah.
all times because when you getting so caught up in like the lack or the caught up in like something
Mhm.
not missing,
Mhm.
you do confuse your manifestations like
Yes.
that. Yeah. So what like how did you get to that point where you was just like I'm moving in abundance, like I'm doing everything I want to do, like it's all gonna work out? Like how did you get to that point?
I want to make sure I answer this question correctly.
Yeah, take your
So
time.
basically, I was renting a 2 bedroom apartment and, in Bed-Stuy. I rented one of the rooms that was my nail art studio, and the other room was like my bedroom, and then there's like it was a perfect setup, and um, I think they had lifted the ban off of like what is it, rent stabilized apartments,
Mm-hmm.
like post pandemic, because it's like it's not really post anything. We're low key still in the pandemic, but yeah, post pandemic, they lifted the rent stabilized rent ban, and they skyrocketed my rent up $400, really like $500 because when I originally signed the lease, it was like $500 less than what they went up to
Right.
basically. So
these people is crazy in New York City.
yes,
I feel like all the time, why am I still here?
that I know. I get it, but also like I get why we stay here and why we come back.
You get it.
Yes,
get
I
it.
do.
Yeah.
It's worth it. It is. The opportunities are endless. I feel like. There's so much opportunity here in New York City.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically they were kind of like they gave me like a month and a week, so like it's almost 6 weeks to figure out whether or not I was going to resign my lease or like move out. And at the time, I was just like,
it was so much going on at that time.
Yes,
it was like, cause I even felt like me and you weren't even really kind of talking.
I was stressed. I was so stressed.
Everybody was going through their own.
I
shit
was
at that time.
real depressed around that time, and thank God the job came. My full-time job came right in time for the move because I was so stressed out because, like I said, I was just so stressed about money. Like it's just not. It wasn't coming like how it was before, and
you was still DJing. You was still doing nails.
But my spirit was exhausted too. So then I didn't have the capacity to do it as often.
Yeah, because I remember you was cutting back. You was just like, it wasn't like you didn't have the clientele for the nails. Yeah. Because you was like, it's too much. Yeah. Like I need to like break this up. And like, I get it because when you work in service, it's labor. You know, like,
and I wasn't resting.
Even as a stylist, like it is a laborious job.
It is. You do have a laborious job.
It's a laborious job, but even still doing nails, like you gotta use your eyes. Like me straining and looking at something for a long time gives me a headache. So I can only imagine all of the fumes and even DJing. You have to be up late at night, like you have to be amongst a crowd. You gotta have mental capacity. Yes. You can't be sleepy over there, like
right.
So it's just like I get it, like it's fucking laborious.
Exactly. So I was exhausted mentally, physically because I had worked myself. I had burnt myself out. So then I wasn't even thinking correctly. I was stressed. And then I became depressed because I cut back on clientele and opportunities. And then it started reflecting in my finances, and that made me depressed. And that made me go into isolation where I didn't really talk to anybody. If you wasn't like, we better fucking hang out. Like, if you was like, we're gonna do this. Like, I was not in a space to like initiate anything. And honestly, like I'm just that person. Whenever I'm going through things, I will isolate myself. Yeah. So it wasn't even like I was mad at you or I was anything about you. It was me.
Yeah, we had a conversation. Yeah. But it was me too. I was going through my own
we
shit.
probably just needed each other, really. We just needed each other. But yes, I was going through stuff. So so I got the job. But anyway, by the time I got the job, I hadn't gotten the raise that I needed to maintain that apartment. So I had to move. I had to search for an apartment basically to move into, and that was so stressful because the brokers were hella mean and just
all the New York is like, and you had only a month to do it.
That part. It was really hard. It was really hard because I had good credit, but then they were like, it's still not good enough because you don't make enough on paper and you need a guarantor. Or, no, you can't move into this one. Or the brokers were rude. It was just so many different adversities I had to deal with at that time. And I was just like, you know what?
This shit don't make sense.
No, it don't. I'm not finna go completely, like, I don't want to be in a position where I can only afford to pay my rent and my cell phone bill.
That's it.
Like, I don't want to be in that position because then that's going to make me even more depressed because I'm not even able to, like, congregate.
Yeah. And it's just like New York City, you want to be outside.
Exactly.
All your friends is outside.
Exactly. Like, and you want to look good, too. You can't even pay for things. Like, it was just that. So that was the time. That was the most recent time that I was really affected by feeling broken. Like, you know.
That was your brokish period.
That was my brokish period, yeah.
And then you
pivoted.
And then so you were saying like you changed your mindset.
Yeah.
You okay.
Yes.
So what did that look like? Was there a new routine or like?
Honestly,
you did move.
I moved to a place. I moved to Detroit, and like I said, there was just so many things happening, piling up all at once. I started to get overwhelmed, and I started to be like, what am I doing what can I do differently that could like ease myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I feel like I practice gratitude enough. I think I need a therapist.
Okay.
So I got it. At the time, I was taking a break from therapy. So I had got a new therapist, and just being in conversation with her just really inspired me to be like, because she also was like, yeah, I was like that too. Like I was recently like that, and sometimes it's easier said than done, but just not feeding into the adversities, like
Yeah.
just making the best out of it.
Yeah,
like
those
look
negative
at look at
thoughts.
it look at it as a positive experience for you. Now you get to go and do this and be and work with this crowd, and get your foot in this door at this in this city, in this state.
Yeah.
Live live in a more luxurious home for you can save money. Like it
Yeah.
was just
You
I
had
had
to
to change
change
my
your
mindset.
You had to change your outlook.
I had to change my outlook.
Okay.
And my therapist helped me change my outlook because she was just like, of course, everything is gonna continuously feel that way. That's the only thing that we're thinking about.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? You are right. You are right. And I always preached a positive mindset. I've always been an optimistic person. That's what makes me a good counselor, a good mentor.
Exactly.
Because I'm always giving them that, that positive feedback and those positive affirmations. So I really had to just be like, treat yourself like how you treat other people, and talk good to yourself, talk nice to yourself. Remind yourself of all of that. Your adversities are not like you don't have to.
They don't
accept,
define you.
No, you don't. They don't define you. You don't have to accept like this is a life. I will not accept that was my life. I was just like, this can't be my life. Like,
no, it wasn't.
Yeah, and
it was
wasn't.
just you were just transitioning.
Exactly.
You were transitioning into something else, something bigger, something better. Do you see the improvement in where you've like grown during that time?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to ask you, because you mentioned that you are a mental health counselor,
Mm-hmm.
and just working in the industry of being of service to others, doing nails.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with all of that energy sometimes? Especially with being a mental health counselor,
Mm-hmm.
like people are talking to you about their issues and their problems. Like, how do you deal with that energy to
Mm-hmm.
keep pushing through and knowing like I was at this point in my life, this not gonna bring me there, like this not gonna bring me back. Like, how do you manage all of that?
To be honest, I take a lot of time to myself. I spend a lot of time alone. Naturally, I like when I'm around people, I am an extrovert, but like low key, I'm like a loner, introvert. I love spending a lot of time with myself, by myself, and I also have like a self care routine. Um, Going to the sauna, going to get massages, going to the spa, um, reading, just meditating, um, having a consistent therapist. And my therapist is really good, and we're literally about to have our last session this week, and then I have to find a new one. But I feel like talk therapy is spending a lot of time alone to recharge, choosing what I participate in and what I don't participate in when I'm not working, because like you said, I am always in service to others. That's just the path that I chose, or the path that chose me. But yeah, spending time alone to recharge and taking care of myself, like in the most like relaxing ways, reading, yoga, all of those things help a lot. And honestly, like just spending time with people that I really truly like love, trust, and is closest to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that recharges me too.
So, in those moments where people are telling you about their problems or their issues, like, how do you not allow that to, like, disrupt your day, or, like, disrupt how you feel, or, like, this person is struggling with that? Because I feel like that's something that I struggle with. Like, just, like, hearing or seeing what other people are going through, especially the ones close to me, and just like,
Mhm.
you know, you going through this, but you don't really have to, you know,
Yeah.
and kind of like saying, feeling like, I mean, you can't change a person, you know, you have to really
Yeah.
allow them to be, but I guess just just listening, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
A lot of people, a lot of the contexts that I speak to, they really have no one to speak to about these things, and they really just want someone to listen. But basically, like, the way I don't take it on is, it was really hard at first because I was affected by every little thing. Just being an empath and just being sensitive to other people's problems and what they're experiencing. But honestly, like, having a process group at work, but also just telling myself, like, when you're doing this, this is who you are to this person, but you don't have to carry this with you.
yeah,
After you've had the conversation or supported the contact or
mm-hmm.
supported the person. Um, yeah, just saying that this is not mine to carry, and leaving it where it's at. And it took me months, so many months to do that because, like I told you, I'm just one of those people who is very nurturing, and if I can do something about it,
Yeah,
I will. Like,
you
you
want
see me
to,
down the street when we
yeah.
were.
You want to do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's also something, a skill that I've been working on this year. It's just like listening. Because when you're listening, like that is the work. Like that is how
Mhm.
you're helping, you know? Like
Mhm.
you're just being an ear. Like you don't have to have a solution for this person.
Mm-mm.
You don't have to figure it out for this person. All you have to do is just listen. You know? Just
Mhm.
listen.
And if you have resources, of course, you can offer them, like, hey, I know that you mentioned this, but like you said, being a good listener for people who, are going through things, they really appreciate that, like, right there alone.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have your 9 to 5, you do the nails, you
Yeah.
doing DJing at night. Like, how are you prioritizing, or how do you manage all of your relationships and, like maintaining those clients? Because I feel like, I don't know, a lot of times my clientele kind of comes from my network, and my network is kind of mixed with like my friends, and like,
Mhm.
so like, how are you,
Peers.
yeah, how are you like maintaining those relationships? How do you balance it? Who do you prioritize, especially like coming from Detroit and New York? Like, how you prioritizing those relationships?
Whenever I have free time, like, and when I say free time, I mean time that I don't need to myself, I initiate. Let's hang out. I make everybody. I try to make everyone feel equal. To be honest, I prioritize all of my friends. Even if I'm like, let's get together. I'll go here. Or come meet me at this party here. Or do you want to come to my DJ gig? Or do you want to come to this event with me? And
Yeah.
uh, or let's go get dinner. Or let's go to the park. Or so and so is playing this show. Do you want to go see it with me?
Yeah.
Um, oh, I've been wanting to go to this new restaurant or this new bar. They got really cute cocktails. I love their aesthetic. You want to try it with me? Like, whoever, you know, because I literally try. I know so many people, so I really try to prioritize everybody, and really that's how I do it. Whenever I'm done recharging and I'm not working, I'm like, whoever, I've been wanting to catch up with or wanting to see, I'm like, let's do this, or I'm
Yeah.
coming here, I'm gonna be here, let's do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate to that because I feel like now it's just like you be so busy with work, and then
Mhm.
when you're not working, you take time for yourself, and then when you have some spare time, it's just kind of like you're obviously doing something, you're out and
Mhm.
about, and that's how I feel like with hosting. I'm just kind
Mhm.
of like, like, I'm not hosting every night. I'm not hosting
Mhm.
multiple times out of the month. So it's just like, if you can and I ain't seen you, Like, come pull
There
up,
you go.
you know, like
This
come
is
pull
our
up.
hangout.
But I also know that is kind of like I'm still kind of like, you know, it's kind of like
Working.
on my terms,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just sometimes I get a little overwhelmed, especially when you know so many people and like your network is your peers and things like that, and it's just kind of like, and then also I feel like as I am expanding, you know, it's at one point I feel like I could bring everybody together and it was like a cool vibe, but I feel like everybody's so different, so I can't just like have everybody come together and we all on the same page and vibing the same. Have you experienced that?
I can say, well, me, I'm like, I love all of y'all, and like, y'all all have one thing in common, which is me.
Right.
So if I can connect with y'all, I'm sure y'all can connect with each other, and it may feel a little awkward at first because you may be judging someone like based off of outside appearances. But like for me, I'm like, I love all of y'all, and y'all all love me. So let's get together and do a thing. Or
so it hasn't been. Oh, it's you haven't experienced like weird moments with friends that just like are opposite worlds.
My weird ass. Hold on, because I'm the opposite one. Let me think. I do have a hard time connecting with some people who are on a specific scene that I am not on anymore, and it's sometimes it is hard to connect them with the people who I have embraced more recently. Yeah, just because the understanding is a little different.
Yeah.
But I don't believe in that. I don't believe in you. We got one thing in common, bitch, and all of us are here probably because we are some type of creative, and there are many different types of creatives, and even in my friends that are like product designers who are in tech, you're still a creative. You're still an artist at the end of the day, and you may not relate to someone who is a fashion stylist or fashion artist or even a nail artist, but there's a level of openness to your personality. So yeah.
I feel like that's interesting that you say that, because a lot of times for me, especially when you're like trying to blend communities, how you said like you're like the awkward one, I know I'm always the awkward one, and I'm like, damn, I can't really relate to anybody. I always feel like I'm just such an outsider, like nobody gets me, nobody gets my world, understands me. And I just be like, damn, I'm the loner here.
Yeah. I feel that way sometimes.
Yeah.
But like I said, we all come together on one thing for the most part, to be honest.
You just gotta push through that feeling.
That part.
It's just like, you here, you might as well just enjoy yourself. Like, don't overthink the situation and make yourself feel like you gotta stand out anymore just because you think you might not have something in common. You know?
Exactly.
You might actually do have some commonalities between these people. And if not, you can still have a conversation. You can still enjoy yourself.
You can still enjoy yourself. Yeah. I have my straight friends who are hella straight, and my queer friends who are hella queer and gay, and they ain't got the thing that they don't have in common is obviously sexuality, for the most part. But like, that's personal stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, when we met each other, I was on my queer shit.
Right.
And now I'm just like,
no queer shit.
I'm not with that. I want a man.
Exactly.
I want a man. Do you feel like there has been, because I bring that up to say, you say you got your straight friends, you got your queer friends. Do you feel like there is any difference between, or it's just kind of like, or have you seen any differences between me?
Bitch, you a Capricorn. You just like me. You hella strict on yourself, and then you're like, all right, I'm free to do whatever. Let's turn up. Let's have a great time. I don't really care.
It's the same shit.
I don't really hang around people or connect myself with people or stay connected to people with people who are judgmental.
Yeah.
I just don't do it. And having some people who are around you who are free and themselves and confident in themselves and they're, who they are, who are free from being judgmental. You can just connect a little bit better. It's a little bit more of an expansion opportunity. Like so for me and you, like you even still come to my gigs that like, and when I was DJing in February, you came to that. That was a queer party.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I don't really see the difference. I feel like you still love me and support me the same.
Of course.
And I don't look at you any different because this ain't nothing new to me. But also, I don't. It's such a personal thing that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like I love you, so I'm gonna just accept you regardless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like, I don't know. I've seen some changes within my life.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it has anything to do with, with that, or had anything to do with anything,
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like relationships and dynamics around me have changed. But like I said, I can't pinpoint it. I just know
people change and grow.
Yeah, I just know I changed.
Yeah.
That's all I know is that I changed.
Yeah. And that's okay. And that's the whole thing with loving somebody. You have to really love them unconditionally and accept them for who they are, and not be so stuck on them being this specific person, because they can up and be like, well, I'm not that person anymore. Like tomorrow, and what you gonna do? Not love them no more? Like you was gonna be like, well, bitch, you was like that.
And some people like that.
Yeah, you're right, and that's why I can't connect with those people. I just remove myself from those people's lives. I don't even allow myself to be in that energy, because what are we getting all our feathers ruffled for?
And it don't have nothing to do with you.
Yeah, it's personal.
Yeah,
it's personal, and like I said, when you love somebody and that's your friend. For me, my friends are like family. And family means something different for everybody, but once I love you, 9 times out of 10, I love you unconditionally if I've known you for longer than a few months, you know what I'm saying? And I'm accepting whoever you may, because I changed. You already know I've changed. I mean, I'm still the same person, but like I've changed. Since I first met you.
Yeah.
And
none of your changes, I feel like, have affected me
exactly
at all. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I've seen you grow.
Yeah.
Your changes have all been growth and expansion, and becoming a better version
of myself.
Yeah. That's
I
how
feel that way about you too. When someone knows what they want, let them just be. Like you don't need to micromanage the connection or friendship. You just gotta be like, okay, so this is who this person is now. Okay, but some people may have a hard time accepting their new self and their new life, and they're in their mind about how they're gonna be perceived, and that may affect how me and that person connect.
That's true.
Yes, I think that has happened before, where I've had to remove myself or exit people's lives because I was like, well, I know I'm the one, I'm being supportive. You pushing me away, and I'm trying to be like, it's okay. So this is actually something that, I've stayed years in a friendship where I was like, well, I tried, Yeah.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Because people do change, and if they haven't accepted their new life, then sometimes they project.
That part.
They project.
That part.
Yeah. That's life. Life be life. And okay, so listen. When we first met, I feel like you was in a relationship, I was in a relationship. You was in a relationship, or
I was single when I first met you.
Or you got in a relationship, girl. I mean, I feel like
2 years after I met you.
I didn't see much of you being single, or if you were single, you were still dating. Like you were still dating, like.
But when I first met you, all I did was work. I wasn't dating anybody. Like.
Okay,
yeah. Yeah. That's true.
But there was a period where we both was just like.
Yeah.
We were like tied down.
That part.
So. But that being said, like, I mean, when I first moved here, I guess let me speak for myself. When I first moved here, I was in a relationship for a very long time. I wasn't on the scene. I wasn't dating. But, like, how has your experience been with dating from, like, you first moving to New York and then, like, I mean, I guess, like, now.
I always seem to date native New Yorkers. I always seem
and they crazy.
they got a different type. They're a different breed for sure.
For especially the women. Okay.
Girl, yes. Oh my God, definitely. I've dated some interesting people. All the different cultures and shit. All the different ethnicities, nationalities. Dating, it's, I want to say rough, but because of the different perspectives that we have. One, like me being from the South and the Midwest, I have a completely different perspective on what relationships look like and how they feel versus someone that was born and raised their whole life in the East Coast or in New York. And I always seem to attract the artists or creatives, and you already know those personalities. You just sometimes you don't know what you get. You just really don't, and it's been so funny, interesting, hard, fun, dating in New York. Like, to be honest, because like I'm super specific. I'm big on if I could learn something from you, if we can inspire each other, and aesthetics. I like a specific aesthetic.
What's that? What's that aesthetic?
You gotta have your own style.
Yeah,
like you gotta have your own. It has to be loud too. It has to be loud. It has to be you're saying something with when you get dressed, even if it's a chill fit. You still gotta be saying something.
You gotta put it on.
Yeah.
Even when you're not trying to put it on,
exactly.
put it on.
Yeah.
Period.
Like I love me. I like what's going to make me see you is your style, how you carry yourself, and then like I'm more interested in if I could learn something from you. If you could teach me something, if we can inspire each other, if our goals are aligned, and me, I'm a giver. I've noticed people from New York, sometimes they could be, not everybody, but they could be more for themselves. And I'm sure you've experienced that dating people from New York.
I've only dated one. Well, now I'm dating men from New York, but at the time I've dated one woman, like New Yorker. And you remember, she was crazy.
Okay.
She was, out of her mind.
What's this person a Pisces?
I don't remember what this person
Light
was.
skin?
Did you know this person?
Okay, I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Was out of her mind.
Yes.
Like, first person that ever, like, would just, like, leave me places.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like, it was just kind of like, what is going on? What is this? Toxic.
Yes, toxic, but also just maybe undiagnosed.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was giving, undiagnosed. Yeah, and I feel like I don't want to say this, but like, yeah,
but it was definitely fun.
Yeah,
like
fun.
I really had a lot of
fun.
And like, yes, New Yorkers like are fun, especially like native New Yorkers. Like they know the spots.
Yes.
They know where to like take you to, and like New York, they also have like a certain caliber about themselves. Like they just see themselves and like. Even though a motherfucker don't even see him like they the shit, like they think they the shit, they know that they the shit.
Yes.
And that shit is like, I love that shit. It's sexy. It's very sexy to me.
It's attractive. Yes, it is. It's true. But it's been all those things, and
it's a roller coaster.
It is. It really is
you don't know what you're gonna get.
You don't know. You don't know. And I've even dated some people who would call themselves transplants, and they are just also very interesting to connect. They're probably from the East Coast as well. Transplants from the East Coast. But I also noticed that people here, like, dating here, like, well, what you finna do to get me? Like, what you gonna do? Like, to...
Okay, yeah. I see what you're saying. Like,
yeah.
Like, they want you to chase them.
Yeah, like, what?
Yeah.
Why I gotta do all that? I'm already making an effort.
Okay, yeah, no, you definitely have to chase me because I'm not doing no chasing. Okay? I need that good morning text every morning.
Exactly.
Good morning, beautiful. Thank you.
Period. You heard my sis.
As I'm like dating and I'm looking for my partner, I feel like I want you to be my best friend.
That part.
You know, like you have to be my best friend. We have to have fun because like at the end of the day, if it don't work out, like, you my best friend. Like, I'm probably not gonna fuck with you. I don't see you as, like, this person that I want to be with anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But Like we
We
homies, we
cool.
cool because
Exactly.
we actually built that relationship and we built that foundation. So having fun and laughing and just a good time and a
Yeah.
vibe, like
Talking about all types of things.
that's important.
Yes.
That's important. Don't just see me as somebody you want to be in a relationship with.
I can't do that. Then I get bored. I get bored. Like, for real, me, I'm the type of person, like, I have to be stimulated. Like, I need to be having fun, like, planning a trip. Let's go and try this event. Let's go to this event. Or do you want to go try this new place? Or is this new vibe? It's just like, me, I like to have fun when I'm dating. If I don't and it gets too repetitive or, like, how can I put this? If it's just this is what it is, like a routine, I'm like, we ain't fucking 70, bitch. Like, what the fuck we got?
No, yeah, and I don't want no routine. Like we wake up and we do this and then we do this.
No, I like spontaneity,
yeah.
And I dated somebody who liked to do the same thing every day,
crazy,
all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, you cool for when I want to get married. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You cool trying to get married. You trying to marry me today.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm still trying to date you. I'm still trying to get to know you.
Yeah.
You trying to set this routine.
And it's like, that's cool for you, but not for this relationship.
No, I honestly, I feel that, and I get that, and that's special because it's just like being in a relationship is cool. You know, like having your person is cool. I think my issue, or at least this is something that I'm working on, is those like, I feel like in my past relationships, I never could balance my life and being in a relationship. It was just always like my relationship.
I know, bitch.
And you've seen it where it's just like, I'm not hanging out with my friends. I'm not hanging out. I'm with this person, and this is like not all of my relationships. It's a very specific relationship, and or a couple relationships. But like, how do you balance that? Like being with your partner and still, you know, prioritizing your career and still making time for friends. Like,
so I'm one of them girls who work, like, I like to work hard and play hard. So for me, work always comes first. Like, me and myself and my career, that comes first. So
and
I prioritize that to begin with.
Your partner understands that.
Definitely.
Like, how you set the foundation? Like, how do they know? Like, oh yeah.
Well, I'm busy about it when I first meet them. I'm doing all of these things when I first meet them, or I'm this is what I'm doing, and this is what, you know, pretty much this is my life. Like, I'll let them know, like, you know, I'll be working, I'll be doing this, like, you know. Like,
so they already know what they're getting into.
Definitely.
And they don't try to change you.
A lot of people admire that about me. That's one of like the top things that people tell me that they like about me. The fact how I am about my work. Like, they love that I'm just like
that's important. What I'm doing. Having a person that actually is just going to admire that and not try to change that.
No one's never tried to change it. But I mean, when I was younger though, I did have an issue. When I started working like 2 jobs, my person was like, "What the fuck? You're never here." I was like, "Well, girl, come visit me at the bar. Let's kick it at the bar. Like, I'm be here. I'm creating space for you to come and sit with me at work while you know what I'm saying. We can have a couple drinks and talk shit. Like, you know, like, you're my girlfriend, but you can also be my customer too." When I was bartending and
did they pull up?
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it worked out.
It worked out. Yeah, and also I like to date people who are also entrepreneurs or on the same like freelance gig scene.
Exactly. I think that is. I've dated non-creatives who just don't get it, and that's why I'm like, you gotta be in my space. You gotta be in my world. And not necessarily the fashion world, but like you said, entrepreneur. Yeah. You know, like a creative industry, or just like, even if you have a 9 to 5, you gotta hustle on the side so you know what it's like.
Something you're passionate about too. Yeah. On the side, different from your 9 to 5. Yeah, I feel like that's always been me. Like, no matter what, since I've been working since I was like 11, 12 years old doing hair. So really, that's always been first, making my money and being stable and my and just because I just have to be myself. Like if you're okay with my personality, which is basically a lot of career oriented. I used to tell people all the time, like, a lot of my goals are career goals. They are not relationship goals, and this is just who I am. And um, they are so like, okay, cool. I'm about to be right, right there with you, and
Love
just
that.
yeah, cheering you on.
Love
So
that.
yeah, I'll invite them out as well as friends. And then I'm also very intentional about my dating life. So like I make sure I carve out time for them where I'm not putting them, or they don't feel like I'm putting them last. Like I also make them feel just as important as my work and myself, because I'm like, look, I want to do this. Let's do this. I did this for us, or we should go here. Something like very intentional, or not something that we will do like on a day-to-day basis. Like I'm very spontaneous when it comes to stuff like that. Like let's go on a date, my treat, or we should do this, and then they plan it. Like I love that.
Yeah.
So even with friends, friends do that for me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the other day I did a shoot with Esther. Remember I was telling you, and she was like, "Oh, well, let's go to dinner. I want to take you to this new spot that I really like. My treat." I'm like, "Okay, period. I'm there." Yeah, I make time. Like this is our day. This is our time. So yeah.
That's beautiful. Aww. Well, thank you so much, Tru. It was just like so special having you and connecting with you and catching up and chatting with you. I really appreciate you for coming here and being vulnerable and sharing your experience. You never know, with your experience or how whatever you've had to overcome and get through can help the next person. So yes, thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're doing this podcast. I feel like you used to do the podcast when you first started booking me for DJing with the collective, but it's good to see you doing your own show now. I'm so proud of you. You inspired me. I already told you that the other day. I gave you a long speech about how you inspired me.
Girl, same.
Yes. So I'm so grateful to be on this. Because this is probably gonna blow up within the next year. So period. So. I was on first. I was one of the first people. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, and please let our followers know where they can find you, where they connect with you, what you got
on. So you can follow me on Instagram at Tru.Violet. On SoundCloud and Kiki.com at Tru Violet.
Yes, her SoundCloud playlists are lit. Okay, yes.
And you can just Google me. There's so many things on Google. Tru Violet, Tru Violet.
Google her. She is Googleable.
Yes, and it is. The other day I had to Google myself, like, oh my god, I forgot about this interview.
Yes. Period. Are there any final words, any thoughts, any quotes, any advice you would like to leave the people with?
Go after what you want, especially if you know what you want, and don't let nobody tell you who you are.
Period. I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Brokish Black It Girl, the podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. Let's cheers it.
What are we cheersing to?
To life, to success, to entrepreneurship, to growth, to being our highest, our highest selves. Anything else you want to add, sis?
Into your podcast.
Period.
Yes.
Love it. Brokish Black It Girl. All right, y'all. Peace.